Hello guys, how you doing? Red Pill Phil here on YouTube. If anyone was watching previous videos where I've mentioned that I really wanted to have a slot on my channel that was in remembrance of a very dear lady, stroke activist, stroke Mrs. Rochdale, that is Linda Phillips. Primarily, I wanted to make this slot all about survivors who haven't had that voice, who want to relay their situation, whether it be to help people or to talk about their personal scenario. But as you can see, I'm wearing the PAG memorabilia because that is dear to my heart. And obviously, anyone who knows Linda Phillips, aka Mrs. Hemorrhoids, will know that she was an affiliate of PAG as well. So with that in mind, I've got a brilliant guest that's got a story that you all should listen to. So Red Pill Phil here on YouTube. So, like I say, survivors, the lack of voice, the lack of justice. What can you say when it comes to how a survivor must feel? Many people want to talk about survivors, but how many people actually allow survivors to have a platform? This man in particular, I met him probably 2 years ago in Rochdale, ironically. This chap at that time had shown me a book that he was about to bring out, recalling his abuse, talking about his abuse and what he'd gone through. Got in touch with me through the comment section just a week or so ago, and we've started to interject via WhatsApp, show me a few of his details and his story. I can't believe how his story has not been picked up by anyone. You could say a survivor from the care system from the age of 6 years of age, flitted around different care establishments around the country. So you can imagine the failings that has happened and maybe some good things that have happened in each of them care systems. So with that, it's a hell of a long story. There's going to be a follow-up interview that's going to actually break this down bit by bit. So all I wanted to do was really introduce this guy to the world, to my channel, to my subbers, to give this guy's channel a boost and obviously to get his story out. So with that, I'm going to welcome along Justice J. How are you doing, mate?
Hi, Phil, and thanks for welcoming me onto your platform. And that little bit nervous, the first interview I've ever done. You know, been carrying it for 20 years and just excited as well as nervous. I'm not afraid in any way. I'll give you all rights for this interview, you know, so let's get on with it. Let's do it.
Thank you for that, mate. And honestly, don't let the nerves kick in because we've just been chatting like housewives for the past 15, 20 minutes. So honestly, once we get going, we'll be on it.
It's just relaxing, isn't it? First interview, do you know what I'm saying? So it's just relaxing and as you know, be working hard, trying to put it all together in a tidy, presentable manner, you know what I mean? But
let's go back. I met you 2 years ago, which you reminded me because it was that vague. I'm like, where was it again? And then as we were talking about it come back. Can you talk about the scene? It was in Rochdale, wasn't it? It was on was it a Survivors Matter event?
Yeah, I got talking to a guy, Survivors Matter, and we was invited down to represent or to, you know, represent him. We drove from Merseyside, got my book script and my flyers and my posters to the book and that. He knew he was coming down there, excited. So yeah, we get there, pulls up. And other people. It wasn't busy when we first got there. Hence the reason why we set off early. Like, got there, met the guy. Even though we've been speaking on phone and texting that, you know, he knew what was coming. Bring your book, yeah. But when we got there, it was sort of he was that busy. He just took the book and that was that. Didn't speak to me. Done the march. Didn't give me sort of a chance to, or a welcome to have a go on the microphone or to speak or anything like that. So I felt pretty gutted, you know what I mean? Suffering with anxiety, traveling all them miles to somebody who was like, yes, I've got a chance to put my side across. But it didn't really happen like that. So we stayed till the end of the meet in Rochdale and stuff, which wasn't to do with me. It wasn't about me. It was about survivors of abuse in Rochdale, because it's that far back. I can't remember exactly, and I've done so much since then. Before it started, before the filming and everything started, I met you, and we had that brief 10-minute chat, and you was the first person that sort of acknowledged what I was saying. Do you know what I mean? You understood what I was saying. So, but because it wasn't about me, you wasn't there to interview me or to listen to me. You was there to represent that meet and to film it and cover the event. But you was pretty gobsmacked with what I was saying to you. But because it was rushed, I was like, so you was taking certain things in. I could see that in your face expressions. But we was both under the rush because we wasn't there for that. You know what I mean?
It's so difficult in that scenario, James, to have a contact with people because there's so many different things going on. The event's about to start. You know, do you get drawn into long conversations when things are about to start?
That's what happened. We got drawn into the conversation, and before we know it, we had to like stop because it was their thing, wasn't it? So yeah, stayed to the end, said me goodbyes and stuff at the end. Bearing in mind, this other person, the leader of that meet, had my book script and everything, and my flyer and that, and was going to follow up on it. And he got bigger, and as you do on platforms and stuff. And the main thing about that was in the name, survivors matter. But I was a survivor, but yeah, I felt like he took my book script, he got me there as representing and hence bigging him up and stuff. Where was the follow-on support after that? If you're such a big platform and you're getting your grants and your this and your that and stuff, that to me, the way them people treated me was a failure. So I came away from it and stayed on my own for like 2 years or so. Got my book published on my own, so I didn't really need. It wasn't about that. Let me just go back on that to put that straight. I didn't go there to get my book published or anything. I went there as a survivor to give him my script and say, well, look, do you know what I mean? But he didn't even look at it. It got through in a box somewhere in his house, and he couldn't find it because I put the copyrights on it and said, don't you ever put that online. And he's promised talks like last year he wouldn't do that and stuff, but I had to put that across as like, I will sue the arse off you if you put that online the way you've treated me and stuff. You've got no right to put that online. So I walked away from that. There was a bit of hatred towards it, which you can't blame me, do you know what I mean? I felt used, you know, and anybody who I've spoke to have said, well, you've got a right to feel like that. He invited you down there, knew you were coming with your book and everything else, and look at the way you got treated, and you can't even find the book script. So you can imagine how I felt after being shit on all my life. I'm in my fucking early 40s, and I've got a chance off this guy, Survivors Matter, and look, he'd done exactly the same thing. In my eyes, he did exactly the same thing. So moving on from that, I did it on my own, published it on my own, got my publisher, found a publisher online and stuff, and got it professionally published, copyrighted and everything. The book, the cover and everything. She did it on a Kindle on Amazon, but I took it one step further without her even knowing. I seen, published by book. So I did all that, and like within 24 hours, it was published by book off Amazon. So,
excellent. How many copies are sold today? Do you know?
It was published the 12th of December, yeah, and by the 20th of January, I'd made £700 off the book. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
I've got, but the money, I need to just stress this, yeah. The money off the book, yeah, was going into bigger and better things, paying for the merchandise like the hoodies, the embroidery, the copywriting, the flyers. If I just move out your way, You could see the poster in the background.
Yeah.
It was,
yeah.
and I was using things like Vista, the most expensive thing on the planet for when it comes to this. But I didn't want it to be cheap and tacky. I wanted it to be the person that I am, in your face, properly, thick flyers, uninstructable. So let me just grab one of these so you can see. That's the cover there. That's the book. And I made it like this because I wanted kids to acknowledge it and not think, oh, it's just a book, shit, that, and throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shit. So, and it's not thin. There's 100 pages. Do you know what I mean? And
so while we're on the subject of that, then, what we know, obviously, you're a product of the care system. You're a survivor from the care system. What does your book predominantly cover? While we're on this segment with that, and then we'll go back to
to cut it all down. Sort of like the book is about me, all facts, all truth that can be proven. It's about going into the care system, what it feels like going into the care system, the physical abuse, the torture, and the mental torture of abuse. Sexual abuse was mentioned, but lucky enough for me, I didn't suffer any sexual abuse. I knew it was going on. I didn't sort of witness it eye to eye when I've walked in on somebody who's getting sexually abused, but I knew it was going on. I knew lads who were suffering that. But I've always said from the start, I'm not going to indicate names that I can't prove. So I can't really talk about other people with this sexual abuse because that's going to leave myself wide open because I can't prove it. My book is about me, what I see, what I suffered, and things that I'd seen with physical abuse, you know, things like we was 20 lads getting put into a sports hall, made to fight, and the lights getting switched off, and the lights getting put back on. You've got a fucking broken nose, split lip, and a black eye, and you don't know who did it. That could have been a member of staff that did that, or it could have been another boy. We never ever know. Do you know what I'm saying? Things like that I went through and I have witnessed with my own eyes that I can vouch for and back up with legal paperwork. Do you know what I mean? Sure. And I have sent you like the legal paperwork as well, so you know you can vouch for that. You have seen the legal documents and stuff, and I am speaking the truth, you know. And I'll answer any questions that you sort of put to me that I can answer. If I can't answer, I'll just say I can't answer it. I've seen deaths. I've seen people hanging themselves. I've seen, you know, I've saved them. I've cut them down. I've seen people slicing their arms, and I've saved them, tied their arm up and saved them. And I was only 13. You know, just stuff like that. That's never ever going to leave me.
Okay, then, James. So let's go to the beginning. From 6 years of age, you were in care.
Yeah.
Can you explain the circumstances why that would have been?
It was me and my brother, and now it's called ADHD. Yeah, back in the day, there wasn't a thing called ADHD. You were just a hyperactive, lovable rogue little boy. Do you know what I mean? My dad was a hard worker, loved his alcohol, but he always worked. He didn't miss a day. He was just working, but he loved his alcohol. It was a family breakdown. That's all I can put, without me saying stuff that's not true. All I can cover that with is with a family breakdown. I don't know what was what, who did what, or whatever, without indicating, like my mum, who I don't speak to, or my dad. You know what I mean? Sure. All I can put it down to is a family breakdown. But I took it worse. I just went proper hyperactive, as far as I know. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just going off what social service files and stuff and other family in the past have said. My mum couldn't cope with me. My dad couldn't cope because he was working, obviously. And I went into voluntary foster. And then from there, I ended up in the system. And that's, do you know what I mean? So I can't even, my brother, I thought, I don't know how true this is because it's not in any of the files that I've received, but third-party information gets blacked out, and that is a piss take. Do you know what I'm saying? And I mean that. I don't really want to swear and stuff, but mate, that pissed me off. Things that I wanted to know was blacked out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they do that shit because your reactions when you get your files and you're reading them, there's things that you want to know. But when you get the files, they're blacked out, like they don't want you to fucking know. What's that about? What's that about? So yeah,
Do you reckon that's an interpretation, as in
for later on in life,
keeping your identity of your family away from you on purpose, as in to keep
yeah.
you in that mentality of being in the system? You're not a family
It causes hate towards your family as well. You hate your mum, you hate your dad because of shit what they're saying. Social services and members of staff saying things, you know what I mean? I've witnessed it. Like my mum or my dad have phoned up and they've said, no, he's not coming home this weekend. He's a little bastard. Do you know what I mean? So like, I don't see my mum for like months on end, but that's causing hatred towards my mum because they'd say, nah, your ma doesn't want you home this weekend. So you end up hating them. So when they do want you to come home, you're like, fuck off, you hate me and all this, and they're like, I don't know what you're like. Then the conflict starts, do you know what I mean? The hatred. And
and because you're in that mindset, frustrated and confused, and you don't know who loves you at this point.
Who to believe?
You're almost you're playing within the cycle yourself, or at least that's how it appears.
That's
because
what they do.
Then act in an angry manner, then that backs up. That backs up everything. You didn't care because you've obviously got issues. You're angry. You can't even have a conversation with your mother.
But they caused them issues to start with by lying on the phone. So then you end up getting physically attacked and beat up and stuff like that, and pinned down and dragged out your bed and made to stand on corridors with just a pair of shorts on or your undies. Do you know what I mean? For days on end and starved.
Okay, then. We've got to the first experience. What can you remember about your first experience of going into care?
It was more like a house, not an old lady. It was what I could remember of it. It was just like a house emergency foster caring in a place in Liverpool called in Crosby. I can vaguely remember it, and then I can't remember as much from after that, or from being in the social services department. Oh no, I think I went from there to a hospital in Heswell for an assessment. I went to Heswell, and in the hospital for assessment, they used to like pin me down to a trolley. Like strap me arms and that. You know what I mean? Bearing in mind, I'm only between 6 and 7 at the most. Strap me down and shit because I'm hysterical. Well, you're going to be hysterical, aren't you? Because you've been took away from your family, age of 7, pinned down on a fucking bed with wheels, and used to push you like into your bedroom and just make. That's how you'd sleep, fucking strapped to a bed like a fucking loon.
So you were actually strapped while you were sleeping?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. I mean, this is all like mental torture early on this. It does feel like that. I mean, any kid's going to be traumatized with being treated like that on a regular basis.
Yeah, but like now they've put all these labels to it, haven't they? Like ADHD and whatever else. I don't really follow all this short names and stuff for the illnesses, But yeah, they've put all illnesses to it, haven't they, for the ADHD and that. But yeah, that's what they used to do.
If that is the case, and you did have that at that time, is that the way to deal with it, James?
Well, that's the way they were dealing with it back then, weren't they? Because I'm a survivor, I'm here, and I'm telling the truth. Like I said to you before, I'll never ever lie. If I lie once, then the whole thing's a lie. I ain't gonna get nowhere with it. So I'm speaking from my heart with the truth. That yes, that's what they used to do. I don't know if they did it to every young person, or was it just me? Because I never ever seen it. What I can remember with other people. Do you know what I mean? Well, yeah, that's what they used to do.
In your opinion, what was the worst place you were put in care?
The worst place has had to be St. Vincent's in Formby in Merseyside.
Right. And do you know why you was moved there? Do you know why you were moved about to so many different places? Was there a reason for that?
I think, when you go into the back then, I don't know about now, but my story is that when you go into these places, for assessment, they assess you, but don't make the assessment public, only to your social services and that. And then they're going to span your life out of that care system, of that circle, because that's what happened to me. 2 years here, 3 years there, 2 years there, 3 years there. By then, they've made thousands and thousands of monies off your social services, which mine was Sefton, with being a Sefton lad from Merseyside. But they've got your circle, 10-year span or whatever. Because I was only on voluntary care. I wasn't on no care orders or anything. I was on voluntary care. Could have been took out of that system anytime. But no, they wouldn't foster me out because there was a block by my parents, obviously. So I could never get fostered out. So it was like a torture that you were going to stay in that system until you were old enough or wise enough to leave it. And that day come on my 16th birthday.
And then where did you go to on your 16th birthday?
On my, I was sort of got myself with a local girl to where this home was. And, you know, they let me go from this care home. No funds, no backup, no social workers, no nothing, to go and live with this girl. 2 years down the line, there was a breakdown and I ended up with nothing. No home, no nothing, no family, no support, no anything. So I had to move back to Merseyside to stay with my dad. And
so
sort of...
We'll go back to the worst scenario of the care home, because I still want to get some of the
obviously,
This is important for people to understand what type of things went on. And can I say that you have sent me a lot of documents, some of which I've read. What is patently clear, mate, is that you have been paid a settlement of in excess of £20,000 to £25,000, which to me spells accountability for everything that you actually put in that piece of paper. You know what I mean? Against him. So there's an element. There
was 19 misconduct charges that he'd gone to court for. You know, they'd gone through the court. There was 19 misconduct charges. And can I just stress, the payment, the compensation payment, was over 10 years ago. This case is over 10 years old. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really want people thinking, well, fuck me, you've just got 25 grand there.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I give that impression, mate. I don't want to do that, because I was reading through. It was 2005, was it?
2007, I think it was. Do you know?
Okay.
Right. But what I'd like to do is to go into the story with more detail about the reasons about the compensation claim and why I took it, and the stress that I was under at the time of the payment, and the phone call that I got off this billionaire. Well, he was a billionaire, because you've Googled him, haven't you? You've seen it for yourself. He is a billionaire, and he's got a big empire around him. So at the time, I was shitting myself, because he was a powerful man, you know what I mean? I'd enough connections to the government, enough connections sitting in little parties and stuff like that, barbecues with all the millionaires and stuff, you know? So I'd put myself in a lot of danger. So, you know, later on another interview or whatever, or you want to go into detail because you're going to break it down, we'll do the payment breakdown so people will understand the whole point of the payment and stuff, you know? But I'll be happy like that.
When you speak about some of the things that you were subjected to, mate, that's why I wanted to go to the element of the home and the scenario. Can you just explain to people some of the things that you witnessed, and also some of the things that were done to you, hence why you could actually be eligible for some form of payment like that? Because people don't give away that kind of money for nothing.
No, see what it was, right? I couldn't go back and take the whole system to court from the age of 6. From the age of 6 to about 13, 14, that was when the darkest, deepest terrorization, tormenting and tortured, starved and battered and locked in rooms for days on end, right? I couldn't bring that up because there was a government line where you could only go back 10 years. So that 10 years took me to the last child home that I was in, which was miles better than the ones that I was in before. Do you get me? So on the grounds of the last care home, which are by their law, not by my law, because I wanted to take the fucking lot, social services, Sefton, the fucking lot to court, the way I was mistreated from the age of 6 to 16, not just this one home, because I didn't know. My scenarios to it was, I'm going to take the fucking lot, not just this one person. Do you know what I mean? But when I spoke to my barristers, Richard Scorer from Manchester, amazing on any sort of abuse in the system, sexual abuse, mental, physical. He got me through it. Do you know what I mean? He was saying to me, you can't do that. You've got to break it down to the last place. And then I had to go for a professional psychiatric report, which I did, even though I'm suffering for like 20 odd years with all sorts of labels of mental health issues. I went there with my my girlfriend at the time, took the psychiatric report and stuff, took it through the court, all rubber stamped and everything else. My man shit himself. He shit himself because he didn't expect that, because he knew I had disabilities and my mental health and shit, you know what I mean? He thought that he could get away with this through my mental health and that. But I had a little support unit like Richard, my barrister, and the psychiatric person who was doing it, which, you know, I showed you the report, didn't I? Like the thingy of it. And they got me through it. But when it was presented to the courts and they signed it, that's it there, yeah. He shit himself. He knew I weren't no sort of like dickhead or divvy or drug user or dependent on alcohol. He knew he wasn't going to get away with this because I'd suffered all my life for people like him, drawing in thousands and thousands and thousands for kids in his care homes, making out that he does this for them and that for them, and paying kids to put up statuses that, oh, it's down to this person and that home for the way I am. I've succeeded. I've got studios. I've got nice homes. I've got everything. I've got nice clothes. This has nothing to do with that home or him. I did this myself. And because I didn't give him the credibility for my lifestyle and the way I am and my structure in life, do you know, he's seen his ass. That's what he wanted from me. He wanted to claim my structure in life. It was down to him. Do you know what I mean? It was because I was in his care, and because of the way I am, he built. It's like he built me. Do you know what I mean? He taught me, but that didn't happen.
He's right in a way, but not in the positive way that he's trying to paint. You could actually say that he's made you the character you are, without a doubt. But what you had to witness and go through, James, no kid at that age should ever see that, or even be be told a story that's ever happened. So for him to do the 180, we was talking about this before, and knowing that this was the regime, because that's a word that's used in your papers, that if this regime was actually happening, he's then going back later on and trying to get glowing reports of what he was doing rather than the regime.
This is right. Listen, this is how corrupt that empire is. His daughter works for a huge newspaper company, right? You can Google it. You Google Bryn Mellon, right, or Brendan McNutt, and the newspaper clippings come up with that man and that man's name, bigging up this kid's home, bigging up this kid's home. I tried numerous times to contact that paper, and kept getting blocked and blocked and blocked and blocked. I wanted to put my side of the story to that story that he put up all over the internet. I can't remember exactly what the newspaper is, because I'm constantly working away and stuff, getting everything together. I forget like main things, but little things. And then what do I see? Her name at the bottom as an editor. So she was blocking it. I'm trying to reply and I'm getting blocked. And then I put everything together. That's how he got that story in there. And she's crying, my dad did this, my dad did that. He opened his home to these hooligans from all around the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hold on a minute. Give me a fucking chance to give my side of the story out and let's see what happens there. No, blocked. And then I tried to contact the government to see if I could get to speak to the childcare minister and stuff. Blocked. But this was going on over 2 or 3 years that I'm trying to get in contact with these people. Blocked, 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 blocked. Bearing in mind, don't drink, don't touch drugs. Okay, I've got mental health issues. Why is that? Because I've got to deal with this. The mental health issues are just like anxiety, split personality, eating disorder, just the mild things. They did have the bipolar and stuff like that. But as time's gone on over the years, these labels have been through on me. So from having them 2 little illnesses, I've now got fucking 10.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, hold on, I didn't have that. I didn't have this. I didn't have. So do you know what I've done?
That adds to building your straw man as well, James.
Yeah, obviously that's because it puts like a little cloud over you. Do you get me? When people look into you,
it's almost like you're never in a win situation. If you ever go mad anywhere over something, then oh geez, that's the bipolar. Oh, that's the ADHD.
Yeah. But listen to this. Because I tried to do what I'm doing now, live with you, the same thing I tried to do 20 years ago. And do you know what the social services and Merseyside police did to me? They fucking sectioned me. Walking down the street, pulled up in a transit van, dragged me into the transit van and sectioned me off for 2 weeks to shut me up.
Really?
Yeah, really. I can prove it.
You were posting about your life, and they
no, because I wasn't on the internet. I was going down to like the social services offices in Crosby and Sefton, but because they were treating me, abusing me again, saying there's no files, fuck off, get out, and all that. So I said, right, watch this. Threw all the flyers everywhere, set all the fire alarms off, set all the water alarms off. Went outside, 300 people, social services come out of that office. I stood on the wall and called them all fucking nonces and paedophiles because of the way they treated me. They didn't nonce me or nothing like that, but I was so angry. That was the worst thing I could say to them because I couldn't, dickhead and all that. I'd said that to them all my life and they didn't listen. And I did that on the hottest summer we had on a Friday at rush hour on Crosby Road North, the main road that goes through Liverpool to Southport. And because nobody was listening to me, I kept getting that brick wall. No. Housing, no. Benefits, no. Psychiatric help, no. Social services, no. They didn't want to fucking know.
So this is all attributing to really why you would go and you'd blow out on them when you feel that you're not getting anywhere. But then that same again through the straw man effect, that makes you look like you're violent, and it makes you look like you need to be incarcerated or taken away. When in reality, there's a reason why you're so agitated. There's a reason why you're frustrated because you're being let down at every bus stop.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, what triggered it was, right, there was a thing called Operation Care, right, which was a major, massive operation for abuse in the care systems, and that was managed so wrong and left so many people tipped upside down and just forgot about, where there was other people that told loads of lies, got claims of millions of pounds, 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand, do you know what I mean? And what about the poor people that were physically abused, sexually, mentally, do you know what I'm saying? That we didn't get a look in. Didn't get a look in because they'd gone to the wrong people first.
Too late by the time we actually realized.
And it was too late, and it was too late. You've just come to my life now. They got in touch with me through the dole. I was on benefits at the time. Come into my life, opened up all fucking cans of worms and everything, going on about all different things and that. Let's give my side little snippets of what I went through and sort of names that they were giving to me, agreed and stuff like that. Fucked off, never to be seen again. So me and my dad have just had a major breakdown now because of all this, and we got fucking left. We got shit on.
Which is only going to compound it again, innit? Let's be fair.
Well, it did. It did. That's why I was going down to social services. Like, what the fuck's going on here? You're on allegations that you want support in sexual abuse claims, mental abuse and physical abuse in these places. You've come to me, opened up cans of worms. I've given my statements of what I witnessed and what I seen and names of homes and whatnot. And they just fucked off and left me and bailed me. Now, my dad's kicked me out and I'm fucking homeless. Thanks a fucking lot, social services.
And why would your dad kick you out? Because you were obviously going through this frustrating period and he couldn't understand it.
He didn't want to see it. He didn't want to see it. It was too upsetting. It's upsetting because he knew I was in the system and everything else. But it was too upsetting. So I was there, dealt with it on my own, right the way through. Social services didn't want to fucking know. The housing didn't want to know. The benefits office didn't want to know. Doctors didn't want to know. Psychiatrists didn't want to know. And then Merseyside police started fucking attacking me and stuff, locking me up.
I mean, the one thing I will say, this goes back to the beginning, really. It's both you and another chap that I met called Jeremy, who had met at a similar event. It was the Survivors Matter in Rochdale. Now, Jeremy, I interviewed Jeremy a couple of weeks ago. He's gone through this tremendous journey now where he's now doing what he's doing, just like you're trying to do, but he's doing it in a performance level. So the acceptance that he's gone through, his journey has gone stratospheric. It really has. And I can see the similar journey with yourself, that you've gone through all this and now you're at a point where you want to utilize it and you want to talk, not only probably for therapy for you, but you want to help people in terms of the care system. Am I assuming that's your message, isn't it? The failing in the care system.
Definitely, and what to look out for, do you know what I mean? Definitely, it's just getting the support, because I've never talked to anybody. And when you said that you take this interview on and stuff, you know, you'll vouch. I was made up, and you know, I was made up. I could have took it to anybody, but because I'd spoke to you and you showed the interest and the support to me in Rochdale, I took it back to you, and I said to you, then I won't take it to anybody else. Do you know what I mean? I won't send them. I've just sent you really personal documents there. That says it all. Do you know what I mean? And it's not about vendettas or hate or drama or anything else. I might come across a bit headed because I'm trying to get it all out and be happy. Once it's done, it's done. The
one thing I do often with the people that I've interviewed, particularly survivors, you do find is because people have not listened to them, or they've not took them seriously, or the maneuvers they've made in the past has not quite got the attention of the people in the way that they would like. When they do get a chance to speak, there's an element where they're speaking 100 mile an hour. Because they've got a lifetime story to getting 5 minutes. I'm only here for 5 minutes with him, so it's like bam, 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 and that's
been the story of my life. You know what I mean? Trying to get everything in, and then you come across as like what do you call it? Hieratic. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I can understand that. I can totally understand it because I see it often. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like ADHD and hyperactive and happiness all come into one because you said you were going to do the interview. So
bless you. Bless you. I mean, I said this to you before earlier on the phone, mate. I feel humbled when I listen to people like you, like Jeremy and Samantha and all the other brilliant survivors that have interviewed in the past. That my platform, I don't deserve it. In a sense that I'm not the one who's got the life that has made you into what you are now. I'm not. I've not had that done to me. I can feel, I can empathize, but when I see several hundred views on a video of mine, okay, that's fine. But when I hear someone's story that's got a plight like yours, and then I see a view count that's pretty less than 3 figures, I think, what's wrong with the world? I know people suddenly, if it's not happening to them, there's an element where they don't want to take it on board. But there's an element of being so superficial here that I feel embarrassed to have 20,000 subscribers, but yet someone like you has to come to me in order to get the story out. It should be the other way round.
Yeah, and it's the support as well after it. You know, we spoke about that as well. That's why I felt, you know, to come to you, because I knew that was there from the day I met you in Rochdale. You know, you showed interest. Do you know what I mean? And not like you were just there to like take it on, you know, ignorance and walk away. You didn't want to end that chat in Rochdale, but we was there to obviously represent somebody else. So, and we have spoke about high numbers on platforms and stuff that, you know, people with live fact stories and stuff can sit on channels. Like I've got my own YouTube channel and stuff, but I stopped it because I wanted the podcasters. My plan was not to just have one interview. I wanted interviews on all them high platforms and the podcasts and everything else. Do you know what I mean? To get it out there. But then I sat and thought, and then I've had messages. I'm not going to name people because it's not about that. I'm not about that. I have messaged a good few people, had chats and stuff, and directed my story, was the interested and stuff, and the liking the comments that I've left and liking that I've subscribed and stuff, and not heard anything from it. Do you know what I mean? I messaged you, and then within 24 hours, you phoned me up and was like, "Come on, let's do it." And I don't think that's because you knew me, because you didn't know me when I tried to explain this. You didn't know me. That's not the reason why I got the 24 hours, and then here we are today. You was asking me. I had to refresh your memory of who I was. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is sad. It is sad because, you know, I try my hardest to put it out there to make people aware of the mental health and stuff like that, and to take it back to, he's an ex-care leaver. He's most probably been battered all his life in the system and starved and abused and mentally abused. Is there a reason why he's got mental health? Has he got mental health, or is he just living?
James, let's put it this. I mean, in a way, I see you as some form of a success story in a term that your journey and the way you've ridden through it and not got caught in anything too nefarious. Can you speak to anyone who you feel that is, not naming names, but just express some of the things that you've seen with other survivors that maybe they've got caught up in as a consequence of what they've gone through?
Well, I was going to come to that. I've got a few. I think there's like two of my time in care who turned to like heroin and stuff like that, you know, since they've been out of the care system. And he was one clever boy. He was the only one that went to a mainstream school out of the care system. We was all schooled in the system. He was in a mainstream school. One clever boy. And, you know, he can't deal with, you know, the actions of what he went through. He went through the same as me, like beatings and stuff. He went through the sexual abuse, but he went through the physical and the mental and stuff like that. And I see him, and, you know, his path is like, you know, the class A drugs and stuff. And there's other ones that their path is alcohol and that. But I always look at myself thinking, nah, I'm going to put this right for everybody, not just for me. So I'm going to put my story out there, put myself in danger, make myself public for everybody that was in that care system with me who can't do it because the heroin, the drink, homelessness, even death. There's been people who are dead now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd look at myself as like, I've got one chance to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to slip onto the mat and nobody's going to know about it. Do you know what I mean? And then poor innocent people are just dead and are just nobody. It doesn't work like that. So even if I put my story out there and nothing becomes of it, or does become, I don't care. At least I've done it. I've got it all out there from that generation of being in that care system, and all the lads and well, there wasn't really girls there when I was there. All the lads that were in that generation of that care system when I was there, I've also done it for them as well, that haven't got the setups and the mind strength to do this shit, you know what I mean? But bearing in mind, I've suffered for 25 years putting all this together and suffering with like illnesses and stuff like that. So it hasn't been easy. I did alcohol over the years, but that was making me worse and worse. And then I just snapped out of it. I just thought, I need to get this shit together and not be like, rah, because no one's going to take it on.
No, you're right. And it's hard enough, even if you're compos mentis and you go about it with a suit and tie, mate. Still, you get, you know, you still get trolls, you still get whatever. But let's work on the positive angle then. What's been the enablers that's been able to make you navigate through all this crap? What's been the positive attributes that you've grabbed onto? Is it relationships you've met outside? Is it, you know,
it's my relationships within girls haven't really lasted longer than like the 2-3 years, because hence doing my book and the mental health and the anxiety and stuff. And I've drove myself with telling myself, I'm better than this. I am better than this. I'm not going to be pulled down and labeled with, well, I already have with the mental health and everything else through things, what were put onto me, the beatings and the mental health and all that. So I've got to sit and suffer for the rest of my life for what other people have done to me in the care system. Do you get me? And I've always said to myself, I'm fucking better than this. There's a light inside me that keeps saying, keep going, keep going. I've broke down numerous times doing this, doing my book and getting all my things together, my platforms and stuff. I'd breakdowns and everything, and I keep going. There's a light to prove. There's a light to prove. Do you know what I mean? Being an ambassador for ex-care leavers, being an ambassador for the kids in care today. Do you know what I mean? I've got the willpower to do it, and mental health hovering over me. I'll never survive from that. I'll never come back from that. Never ever come back from that.
Yeah.
Because it's there. It's what built you. Do you know what I mean? It'll never ever go. The nightmares, the backflashes. If I have a drink and stuff, sometimes I'll fucking lose the plot because I'll have a backflash and that, and then that's it. Then.
Wow. So you still get like triggering events at over the years, yeah? Is this definitely with or without drink, or just with drink, or can it just happen?
It's worse. It's worse when I've had a drink, which hence the reason I try my hardest not to be invited to parties and stuff like that, because I do get that invite to like a house leaving or a house warming, you know, from my best mate, you know what I mean? And then it'll trigger it then, the depression the next day and stuff. So I stay away from it. I'm so level-headed. I know where I'm going and stuff when I've not been around alcohol or anything like that. I stay in with the anxiety and stuff, you know what I mean? Because there's so much like memories and shit when I see something or somebody will say something, you know what I mean? So I stay away from it until I can't say how it's going to be after I've done the interview and stuff and it's on the platforms, and maybe people can understand the illnesses of anxiety, split personalities, eating disorders and drinking disorders and stuff like that, you know? Because that's the reasons why I've got these fucking disabilities, because of what they did to me in the past, you know what I'm saying? But nobody's fucking holding their hands up to that. It's like, have I got to walk around thinking, is this my fault? Have I got these mental health issues because of me? But I know it's not because of me. It's because of the way I was fucking treated when I was 6 years old, all the way through. But who's holding their hands up to it? Nobody. So I'm carrying it again. And like I said to you, yeah, it's like a gym session all day. 24 hours a fucking day. That's how it was. Tensed up 24 hours a day. And it's just horrible.
Yeah, what a way to live.
Horrible.
I mean, it's hardly surprising that you've got people that will end up living a life of crime, you know, getting into drugs and just living a negative lifestyle, because it's an escapism. They can't probably come to terms with it themselves. And even if they do, who's going to listen? You know, all the establishments are just closing up to try and help them. So you can understand that way of life, although I've got the fullest admiration for anyone who can turn a negative into a positive.
It's getting the chance, though, you know. It's getting the chance to do it. Like, hence the reason why I went to Manchester, to Rochdale, because there was more supportive groups and stuff around there than the postcodes and that where I live. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing for that. Because I know myself, I'd be amazing if somebody on this interview, on the comments or anything like that, through me saying, "Listen, come and do interviews and stuff with us in Manchester and stuff like that," I'd jump at the chance. You know what I mean? Because that's what I want. That's what I want to do, to be able to express myself with others, so people are learning. You know, people who are in jobs and that, social services and stuff like that. Like I say, there's no vendettas and there's no hatred. I want to change the way the system was, because there is still things going on in the system today. We can't deny that, you know what I mean? So I want to work in that sort of thing if I can. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to take time, and I'm not rushing into anything, but I know I've got the brain power to become away from sitting behind my door for over 10 years, because that's what I've done. Over 15 years, sat behind my door with fucking anxieties and mental health issues. And that's not me. This is what they've done to me. Do you know what I mean? They've labeled me with these illnesses now to where that's you for the rest of your life. I'm 46, right? I'm fit as a fiddle because I don't do any, like, only house train and stuff like that. Got my exercise bike and everything, you know what I mean? Press ups and everything. So 46, I'm not looking too bad, do you know what I mean? Could have at least 10, 15 years in that sort of work.
Mate, I'll say it. You come across, from the first moment I watch your videos, you come across as a very eloquent, articulate individual that what I can see has used all the negatives as a tool for good, or at least trying to do that, at least starting the foundations to go through them processes. It's all to really gain awareness for what surely, you know, there's been a problem that is still going on.
Well, it is still going on, isn't it? Because there's people on mental health because of it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though it's prehistorical abuse and stuff, people like me who are in their 40s, like 50s, and going into their 60s, yeah, are stuck on the sick for the rest of their lives because of what's being done to them prehistorically. So basically, it's still going on in you know what I mean, in today's world, because these people are still here, wanting to better themselves, wanting to get out there and do something than sit with their disabilities at home. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, the internet is a powerful tool to be able to change your ways. And I could just say the internet has got, you know, it's changed me as a person, because I've been on the internet for 20 years, do you know what I mean? On live platforms, different chat programs and stuff like that. So I'm still interacting with people. Otherwise, if there was no internet, imagine the mess that I'd be in if I didn't have no internet or nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You bring up a good point, though, what you said before. Just imagine, and I'm not saying this is done on purpose, but invisibly, in a sense, imagine how much of the mental institutions have monopolized off what is a failing care system.
Yeah, I've said it for years, and the prison system. Imagine how many kids that are in that prison system, yeah, have been physically battered all their life in the kids' homes, and that's why they can't settle. Okay, I know we've got the other, you know, you've got to look at it both ways. You've got the ones who are all steady with the house, the marriage, and the kids, and that. But we're all different. We are all different. I get that other people have moved on with the life, settled and married and nice jobs and that, but not everybody's the same. Do you know what I'm saying? People deal with things differently, the mindset's differently and stuff, you know. So, because I have had that in my past, and fucking get on with it, lad. Do you know what I mean? I was in care, I've got a job, I'm married, I've got a car. I'm like, whoa, mate, everybody's different. You know, I could have gone through worse of abuse than you. You could have gone through. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Certainly, it's not an excuse. You can't just get on with it and suck it up, buttercup, because the bottom line is, even if you was strong enough to get over it, it should never have happened.
No.
So if that person's going to say that to you, right, James, by very nature, if that person then goes on to have a child, and then he finds out his child has become a product of the same bullying and the maliciousness that he's had to experience, would he say that to his child, or would he want to burn the whole frigging establishment down?
Yeah, I know what I'd be choosing. I know what I'd be choosing. But like I say, yeah, different people have different views on it. You know, some people just want to block it out of their minds and shit like that and move on. Where I can't do that. The amount of times this has been shelved, picked back up, shelved, picked back up over the 15-year span, you know what I mean? That's telling me that there's something in it. But it's just you've got to find the right person to help you to put it out there. Do you know, the book's out there, and the only reason why the book's not going out now is because of the lockdown. That book was flying out before that lockdown. Do you know what I mean? And what I do is, when I was like doing meets and stuff, or going to like the youth club or whatever, I'd leave a book there. Do you know what I mean? So it was free of charge. It's me that's paying for these books, but I'd leave the book there whoever was interested, or I'd meet somebody at the end of my road and go, "Oh, don't pay for it. There's your book. Show your lad it. Show your daughter it." Do you know what I mean? And supported living as well. Do you know, I've got a connection to supported living. I sent it there as well.
Can you explain what that is, supported living, mate?
Supported living is when you have a family breakdown, and it's like a flat within a house. There's about, it could be like 4 flats within a house, 5. It all depends how big the property is. And social services, or your local social services, put you in there at a certain age, getting you ready for your own flat. Obviously, you can't get on with your mum or your dad, so you go into supported living, where it's all CCTV, it's staffed 24 hours a day, it's staffed, you know what I mean? There's members of staff there. And it's just that little bit of support in your own flat. They make sure that, you know, you're eating, you're cooking, helping you out with your money and stuff, you know, for teenagers. And it can vary from, I think, 15 up to 25, I think. Or for vulnerable adults, you know, vulnerable teenagers, that's, you know, to put it down to it. That's what it is.
It sounds positive, that. Is it working? Because I guess it's all on free will again, isn't it? It's down to the individual whether they want to utilise that bit of positivity that they've been presented with to project themselves.
like we spoke, if it's privatized, I don't want us all to like trying to label everything the same here, because I know a few stories about this sector, really, really wrong stories where kids are in there getting £7 grand a week for that kid, and that kid doesn't even get a fucking hot meal. You know what I'm saying? So, without going into that, because it is a story in itself, and it's a big story. Do you know what I mean? And there is videos what I was a part of, which can vouch for that. One of them was 20 grand a week for one kid, and he didn't even have a fucking quilt on his bed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because they're not regulated, who's to know?
Yeah.
Who's to know how that kid's getting treated? Unless you're a parent to that child that's in there, nobody's going to ever fucking know, because it's not regulated.
It sounds like just a vicious trap, doesn't it? Because
It
even if
is.
the kid says anything, then the very nature of that kid
They're
may
kicked
be.
out. They're kicked out.
Yeah, so there's like an intimidation to just shut up and suck it up, really, isn't there?
If you answer them back, you become like a nuisance child, and then you shipped on to the next place. Do you know what I mean? Which is worse than that place, but better. And you should have kept your mouth shut. You know what I mean? That's the system today. I think it's more about money. People working for this system. It's more about money than the abuse, because I don't think you could get away with the amount of abuse now as that what was going on decades ago. Do you know what I mean? There's too kids now are too feisty. Kids standing up for themselves now. It's highlighted. Do you know what I'm saying? Plus the paedophiliation. The kids are all on it. The word nonce gets fired here, there, and everywhere nowadays. So I don't think anybody would take that risk unless, I'm not saying it's not going on, but if it is, it's deeply, deeply underground. Like, you know what I mean? Because kids are too aware of it.
No, you bring up a good point. I'm sure there are still kids that fall under the radar with
vulnerable kids,
the way it is, but particularly prehistoric stuff. There was kind of, like you say, lack of regulations, and the way people was, your family was with you. There was an element of being draconian.
Yeah, they knew. That's how they targeted you. That's how they targeted you, because they knew your family background and how your family was treating you. Do you get me? So they knew, thinking, we can abuse him because his family has know this and know that, and does this and does that, and saying all sorts about him. So they already knew that your family was speaking so bad about you.
Yeah.
That you was a victim, you was vulnerable in their powers.
That's literally playing off it, though, isn't it, James?
Yeah, that's what they do. And who's to do anything about it?
No, because you're silent. As soon as you say anything, it'll probably be in anger or be in direct opposition to what they're doing, which then puts you in the straw man effect again. So you do find yourself in a no-win situation. But you brought up a brilliant point before, which, ironically, Linda Phillips, God bless her soul, she was the lady that often talked about this. She was an activist from Rochdale who used to work with PAG UK. Her son was abused physically at Norview School in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. And she often said about the fact that how with cases, prehistoric cases, they wouldn't go back that far. They would only go back a certain time. Now, by doing that, you're basically selling thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children up the river, because you're saying, we're not going to listen to you.
Yeah, and it's decades before that, because I know people from different decades of the care, who are older than me, from the care system, and the further back you go, the worse and worse it was, and they didn't want that coming out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think they've put that radius time span on it. Like I said to you, I was going in for it, and they said it was a 10-year radius. Now I know people that want to go back further than that, 20 years or 25 years or 30 years, do you know what I mean? That were physically and mentally fucking tortured. But that's why they know they can't do anything and talk about it or to get anything from it, because they won't go back that far. So they're just living with it and moved on, and that's why they say moving on.
All right, James. From a survivor's perspective, how does that make you feel? Try and articulate how that would make you feel if that's the scenario.
Don't stop. Don't stop. I'm at the decade where I don't have to think like that, because I had that 10-year radius. That gave me the channel to fucking fight on, because you've seen the documents. So I've got the rights and the willpower and the passion to fight, because I've got the proof in the pudding with the legal documents. Mine doesn't get blocked after 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Because it's gone through the courts. So that's given me the rights to do what I'm doing now. Sat here with you having this interview, you know what I'm saying? Because the facts there in black and white.
One big question. What was the light bulb moment that made you want to open the channel up, write your book, and literally take this from an internal into an external?
I'd spent many years on the internet, right, getting my book and everything together, typing up and stuff, because my grammar's not the best. I'm self-taught off the internet, you know what I mean? My spelling and stuff, and then you've got Google, which was spelling for me and that, and things were getting better and better. Technology was getting better and better. So I was learning off that, speaking to Google for paragraphs on my book and stuff, just doing all sorts of mad stuff to get my book done quicker. And I'd spent years on Facebook and other platforms, but it wasn't going anywhere. And then I just thought to myself, the only one that I've not done it on yet is YouTube. And I'd been watching yourself and a few other podcasters and YouTubers. I'm not naming names. I don't want to name names. Do you know what I mean? And I thought to myself, I can do that. What's stopping me doing that? You know what I mean? So I've done a few recordings because I prefer to do recordings, because if I don't like it, I can delete it and do it again. You know what I'm saying? I don't like going live, because once it's live, it's live. It can't be deleted. You get me? So I do my recordings. And if I say something that I think that's come across wrong, I'll delete it. Now, it could be a 20, 30-minute video, and I've said something wrong at the end. I'll fucking delete it. I'll do it again. I don't care, but it's good because it's a recording.
Sure.
So
you've got that facility then. Gives you more control, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So I've done 4. I think I've done 4 or 5 and put them on my YouTube channel.
Same again. I'm going to mention another guy, Jeremy, another chap who I met in Rochdale. I only interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. Same again, mate. I love the fact that you've gone through this journey and you felt the way you did 2 years ago, regardless of what it was. In a sense, you probably had to go through that to get to this now.
Mate, you know I've gone through it. Yeah, I've gone through it a few times. If that was my first time, I'd have been like, nah, you ain't getting away with that, mugging me off. But because I've gone through it like a few times in my life and stuff, I was used to it. I was hurt. He knows I was hurt, and his partner spoke to me on the phone and said that it was bad, what happened and stuff. But without going too much into it, I got over it, and it gave me more of a solid pen, as to say, to do more of an ambition to do it. You know what I mean? But the thing that I've always said, I'm going to do it with passion, heart, and facts. Do you know what I mean? And it's who else can it come from? I've been around the system over a million times, and I'm still here.
Do you get people that's come out and spoke to you about this, or that have seen your clips and gone, mate, I resonate with you? Have you had any of that yet?
I've had, like, over the years, because people know when I've had me rants on Facebook, they know, people that know me, been through the care system and stuff like that. I have spoke to 2 or 3 people in the past 2 or 3 weeks. Like, one person, I can't really, well, it's not that I can't, I won't. I've spoke to him and stuff, wants me to do interviews with him, but it's too far away. But the thing is, my mental health state stops me from doing this, going out doing the interviews and stuff, because it's going to take a bit for me to be able to get to that stage. You know what I mean? Trust is a big issue of mine, a serious issue of mine. I've got no trust in people. So, like, I'll meet the person who's been through similar to me, and I'll click straight away. It's just like a mad feeling what you get when you know somebody that's been through the same. You just click to them. Do you know what I mean? And then the trust's there, because you know and they know what you've been through and what you've witnessed is not a lie. It's not bullshit. You've both been through it, and you're there together to make it better together. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot more to be said about survivors empowering themselves and doing what you're doing what Tony's doing what Billy's doing, rather than someone like me going, isn't he great for doing this? Isn't he great? Yeah, that's great coming from me, but still, I've got no idea what it is like to walk a mile in your shoes.
Yeah, another thing that I liked about you coming to you to do the interviews is was like other interviewers who have seen over on the platforms and stuff going into these people in states with mental health issues and stuff. I'd just like to put a little message out to them. If you're going to do these interviews with people who are suffering with mental health, yeah, before you think of their story and where it's going to put you on your platform, think about it when you walk out of that door. Is he stable enough to be left alone because you have opened up a can of worms and you've interviewed them and walked away? Because I watched a story last week, as I say, I'm not going to name names, who done a live video, and that live video, you could basically see that that person who was doing the interview was in no fit state whatsoever to be on a live all over social media. But that person, big numbers yet again, million numbers and all the rest of it for videos and everything else, carried on with that video, and I seen my fucking ass big time over that.
Yeah,
and I've deleted that person and everything now. I did message him, give him a piece of my mind and that, and I've deleted them since.
It's hard, James, because there's a balance. I mean, even I've got that balance doing this now. I've set this up where I want to do something in the memory of Linda, and I love interviewing and I love using this channel as a conduit. But I've got that same obligation that I can't be just getting you up just for content. Because if I do it for that reason, then I'm negating everything. I'm part of the problem that you're trying to argue against. There's
Obviously,
an element of exploitation there.
That's why I came to you. Do you know what I mean? That's why I sort of stalked you to like reply to me. You know what I mean? Without looking like hierarchical or whatever, you know, on your channel.
No, it was fine. It was fine. I'm not sure how many comments you'd left, but it was particularly on the last video that I seen it, and I thought, but, you know.
I think it was only 3. It was only like, I think it was only like 3 comments, and I was like, God, this is like my last chance. You know what I mean? I've met him face to face, and that, you know, there's that bit of, like, the trust was there. Before I'm waiting for other people that are doing it with other material, gangsters, drugs and guns and stuff. This is another level. This is not like that. You know, I didn't want to go down that route. I wanted to do it with a survivors platform. Do you know what I mean? You know, you can fill your channels up with all gangsters and drugs and this and that and stabbings and all the rest of it. This is something that us as me as a survivor wants to take to a survivors platform. It's not even about my own platform. I could to come on YouTube to relate or to get in touch with you and to put them videos on there so you could see what I was on about. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why them videos are there. So whoever on a survivor's point of view was to direct you to that channel to look at their videos to say, listen, this is what I'm about. Do you know what I mean?
Your message speaks volumes there. You can see it, and you can see the direction. You can see that you don't want to make it anything other than what is actually happened to you, what you feel is the negative within that, and how you feel that it could change. It don't come across that you're trying to make it into anything other than that. Same again, I commend anyone who's got the strength going through what you've gone through, knowing that you know the pitfalls have been there. You know you could have easily gone down them, but you've chose to do this. You know,
I just want the chance. I just want the chance, though, to do it in a group. Do you get me? I want the chance to do it in a group. If you can, like you've just said there, you can see I've got the passion and the drives and that. Yeah, okay, I have got my mental health issues. They're not going to go, but they're not dangerously mental health issues where I can't go in groups and do like one-on-one talks and stuff, or 1-on-2 at the most. I reckon I couldn't do big group work straight away. It popped me head. I couldn't do it. But a one-on-one, 1-on-2, and build it up from there. Work with like an opposite person who's been through the same and stuff, and build the trust like that to get to know. Because I can't go into them groups. I freak out. They've tried. I've freaked out. I said, listen, I can't fucking do it. I just can't. But when you've suffered for so long and you're doing the same thing and you've got the confidence through the internet, chatting like we're chatting, and other groups and other survivors and stuff like that, it brings the confidence out. You know what I'm saying? Just there's no groups around here for that. I wouldn't really want to do it close to home. I want to like Manchester or, you know, Rochdale. There seems to be a lot of groups and supports around them ways to do it out of town. Build my character up out of town. Gain my confidence out of town. Do you know what I mean? Go out of town and build my confidence up and stuff like that, and learn as well. As good as what I come across on the videos and stuff like that, I want to be better, because sometimes I'm stuttering, looking for the other bit of the conversation, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Because I don't know what else that comes after it, you know, without thinking, because I'm constantly thinking ahead of it all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's something that will never go, James. I'll tell you now. I still get it. I'm not brilliant at what I do. Sometimes I can go on and I can just nail it. There's times where I think I'm not even going to start the recording because I don't feel confident enough to see it through. I feel at some point I'm going to end up tying myself in knots. It's just one of them.
I've had that. You know, I've had that. I've had people telling me not to do it. You'll end up tongue twisted. You'll fuck yourself up. It'll make you worse. But I've been waiting for this live interview. Well, for this interview for a month. For a month, there was a podcast from New Zealand that were highly interested, and they kept saying to me, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?" I was like, "Yeah." But the thing with me is, if we're ready, we're doing it. Because you've got to catch it at the moment, you know, when you're all ready for it. Because, like, say for instance, you said, "Nah, not tonight, tomorrow," and I could lose that drive then for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I've been sitting on this drive for nearly a month. No, actually, it's longer. It's 3 months. While I've had the YouTube channel, putting it all together, all my files, my paperwork, and everything else, getting it all ready, and then there's nothing else I can do now because everything's done. There's nothing I can do. Unless I take it to the next level and join like a group or something, face-to-face group.
Personally, I just recommend you doing exactly what you're doing. Even though you feel you might have come to the end of the road, in a sense, you've just come to the beginning, James.
With the they understand.
Well, you'll
that.
find you'll keep reiterating what your point is. And that's really what your message is anyway. You know, it's not like, oh, well, I've told my story now. No. Your main point is the care system and the failings within it. And then what you're trying to do, I guess, is trying to connect with people who are in a similar situation. So you just being on a video will be a representation of solace to them. Even if you're talking about something you spoke about 4 or 5 videos ago, that means something to them. You know what I mean? And I do feel a lot of people are going to draw positivity just with you being there, even if you feel this is old news. You know, I need to.
But I can't. It's not even like it's not. You know, I haven't even got the attitude as if I can do it, you can do it. You pussy, stop crying and all that. I haven't got that attitude. And like, look at me. If I can do it, look what I've got. Look at this. Look at that, mate. I'd walk away from this now and go in a fucking bed sit and do this shit. Do you know what I mean? On my phone or my laptop. So it's not about what sort of studios and shit that you've got. Because at the end of the day, it can go like that. That's the lifestyle. It can just go. So you got your phone. I'll still do the same shit. So from big computers and laptops and studios to a mobile phone, I'll still do this shit. You know what I mean? But I think there's enough stuff out now for Justice for Kids in Care with the logos and all the hoodies and T-shirts and the flyers and the book. It's out there.
With that, James, do you want to let anyone know where they can reach you? What other forums are you available
on? We've got YouTube, as you know, Justice J on YouTube, and we've also got Justice for Kids in Care and ex-care leavers on Facebook. And that's where all the merchandise is, like the hoodies and stuff like that, the logos. But you can look at the merchandise on the page, which I'll say again, Justice #4 Kids at ex-care leavers and ex-care leavers, sorry, that's Facebook. So there's only YouTube and Facebook.
And just to make it clear, you stated before that the proceeds that you get only goes to improve what you're already trying to set up now. So
mate, I've given more of it away than
you've actually
sold.
made money off,
Than sold. I've lost out. You know what I mean? I'm paying to the embroider for the hoodie and the embroidery logo, £35. So I've lost out. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it's not about I couldn't care less. To me, it's about getting it out there. That's what it's about, getting it out there. I don't care
Right.
about money or anything else, but if you've got the money and stuff, you will be paying £45 for the hoodie, you will be paying £10 for the book, and 25 quid for the t-shirts and stuff. I'm not just a charity where I'm giving it all away. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not about that.
Well, personally, mate, I'll help you in any way I can. I look forward to chatting with you again very soon. Best of luck
Sound.
with what you're doing, and thank you very much for taking the time out for this interview.
No, that's it.
The best of luck. Keep yourself safe in these weird times, and let's keep in touch, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for taking me on and that as well.
No worries, mate. That's fine. That's fine. Okie doke. Right, cheers, mate. You stay safe, and we'll speak soon, pal.
Okay, then. Thanks a lot. Ta.
Cheers, James. So before I absolutely disappear into the shadow of the darkness, I'm going to have to call this a day. So I'd like to say thank you very much for anyone to take the time out to listen to this. If you've resonated with it, leave a comment down below. I'm sure James would love to hear what you thought of his story. And there will be another follow-up with James, and there'll also be other numerous interviews with other survivors in the memory of Linda Phillips and PAG UK. There's only one thing I've got to say.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.